Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have Krispy Kreme donuts. See? I've literally never had Krispy Kreme before, I don't think, unless it was just like the plain glazed. But I've never tried like any of their like more different donuts, so that's what I'm gonna be doing today. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you guys so much for 2K subscribers already. Like last week when I uploaded my chili cheese fries video, I didn't even have 1K. So it's like, thank you guys so much for subscribing and commenting and just being so nice in the comments. It's amazing to like see so many people like relate to me and like relate to my stories. So yeah, thank you guys. I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'm just gonna get right into the donuts. This one is their apple fritter. It looks really good. Mmm. That's really good. Mmm. I also, I ordered another one. I ordered their Oreo donut, Oreo something, and she didn't give it to me. So that's why I only have 7 instead of 8, but oh well, it's not a big deal. I guess I'll have to try the Oreo one a different time. Mm. And then I also have some almond milk because I thought it would taste better with donuts than water. Mm-mm-mm. And then I'm also going to do a story time today. So people seem to like my last story time. And today I'm going to tell the story of how I got bullied in high school. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, so just a little bit of background of what I was like when I started high school, because this story takes place my freshman year, so I was 15 at the time. Well, first of all, I was really nervous to go into high school. I was just like intimidated by older kids and like just being surrounded by so many people that I was unfamiliar with, because like you go from middle school to high school and like, yeah, you have your friends that you went to middle school with, but it's just different, you know? And so I was really shy and quiet and just like not the type to stand up for myself, basically, is what I'm saying. So this one is their melted snowman. And I think she said that it had chocolate in the center. Either this one has chocolate or this one has chocolate. Mmm. So this isn't chocolate. This is cream in the center. How freaking good does that look? Mmm. Alright, sorry if the setup looks kind of different. I had to switch out my battery because it was going to die. Mmm. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, I was really shy and like quiet and just like not the type to stand up for myself. So it was just like a bad situation because I just kind of like let myself get bullied and just tried to ignore it. But so yeah, basically how it started was like, I think it was like it was either like the first or second day of school, of like high school. So I had literally just started. And I see this guy in the lobby, like waiting to, like, when you get there early, you kind of wait around and like wait for class to start. And I'm like, oh my God, he is so beautiful. Like, he was, like, to this day, probably easily the hottest guy I've talked to, which he was a jerk, so it doesn't matter. But he was part native, I think. And so he was super tan, but his eyes were like bright blue, like they just like popped, you know? Especially because summer had just gotten over, so he was like even more tan than usual, so his eyes stood out even more. He had perfectly straight white teeth because he apparently had just gotten his braces off. He was the captain of the varsity football team, like he was the quarterback. And he was just like, you know the movie A Cinderella Story with um, Hilary Duff and Chad Michael? That's what I thought was going to happen to me. Like, I thought I was going to be Hilary Duff, and there's this really hot guy, and, you know, we're going to meet at a ball, and he's going to chase after me and put up flyers in school looking for me. But, you know, that's not how life goes, I guess. So, I'm like, who the heck is that, to my friend? And she was like, well, I'm not going to say his name in the video, but she was like, I'll just call him Chad. She's like, that's Chad, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we kind of made eye contact, and I was just like, holy crap, he's hot, and just like looked away because I thought there would be like no way he'd be interested in me. And so like maybe a week goes by, and this girl I was friends with in middle school texted me, and she was dating his best friend. So like the girl I was friends with was dating Chad's best friend. And so she texted me and she's like, yeah, Chad wants to talk to you. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, he saw you in the lobby the other day and he thinks you're really pretty and he wants to talk to you. And I was like freaking out. Like, I thought she was lying. And I was like, there's no way. Because, like, that's how hot he was. Like, he was just gorgeous. And, like, I just didn't think that he would ever be interested. This one is their sour cream, I think. Which I've always wanted to try because it sounds kind of weird. But it's good. It's kind of like... It's like not as sweet as like a usual donut, but in a good way. So basically I'm like, yeah, give him my number. Like, I want to talk to him too, you know? And so he texts me and I'm like freaking out. I remember he called me Boo, and like I thought it was like the cutest thing ever, which now if a guy called me Boo, I'd just be like, okay. But I thought it was so cute that he called me Boo when we were texting. And then the next day, I think it was the next day, we meet up after school, which I was so nervous for. I spent like 2 hours that morning getting ready because like I knew I was going to see him at school. And after school he walks me to soccer practice because that's when girls soccer plays, is the fall. And so I was playing for the high school, and like after school we hung out until like I had to leave for soccer, and then he walked me over to the field. And I guess one of the girls saw us talking, one of the older girls who was his age because he was a junior at the time. And so one of the girls I played with saw us talking, and so that same day she was like, she pulled me aside and she was like, hey, so I saw you and Chad talking. And I was like, yeah, you know, like, what's up? And she was like, well, I just want to warn you, his ex-girlfriend's really crazy. Like, I'm not even just saying that, but like, she will like go crazy on you if she finds out you're talking to him, because apparently they had just broken up like recently over the summer. And so the girl on my team was like worried that his ex would just like basically be crazy towards me. And I brushed it off like an idiot because I was just like way too excited to be talking to him. Like, I just thought I was like in a fairy tale, I guess. I don't even know. But so I ignored it, even though she was totally right. The ex-girlfriend did act crazy towards me. So I had gone to middle school with the girls, his ex-girlfriend's little sister, because I was the same age as her little sister. And so we had been pretty good friends. Like, we had hung out in the same friends group. But the little sister just didn't end up going to the same high school as us. So like, after I thought about it, I texted her and I was like, hey, would it be cool if I came over and like talked to your older sister just to make sure that it's cool that like I'm talking to this guy? Because like, obviously I didn't want any problems. Like, I'd rather would have just avoided it than like had any drama. So this one is the powdered strawberry one. I think it's strawberry filled or raspberry. It's strawberry. That's really good. So I like arranged a time. I was like, hey, can I just come over this weekend and like just talk to her? And I was like, can you just let her know I'm coming, because I don't have her number or anything. I can't text her. And so she's like, yeah, sure, I will. Like, you can come over. And so that weekend I went over to her house, and I'm gonna call, who am I gonna call the older sister? I'll call her Jessica. And Jessica wasn't there. Like, she had decided that she wanted to go out to a party instead, which I was like, whatever, it's fine. If she doesn't want to talk to me, I'll just take that as like, it's fine that we talk, because obviously it's not a big enough deal to her. Um, and so yeah, she just wasn't there, and so I just ended up hanging out with her sister. But while I was there, her sister was telling me like kind of how crazy they were. Like, I kind of thought that the girl on my soccer team was like over exaggerating, but I guess they were like a really crazy couple, which they were like 17, so I don't understand that. But um, the younger sister was like kind of telling me all the stuff that went on between them. And I kind of thought she was over exaggerating too, until like I didn't drive then, and so I had ridden my bike over, and her dad came home like late that night, and he saw my bike outside, and apparently he thought that it was Chad's bike, and he literally threw it in the street and ended up bending the front, like the front part of the bike. So I literally couldn't even ride it home. So at that point I was like, okay, maybe if the dad hates Chad that much, like they probably were like a really crazy couple, and like I probably don't want to get involved in that. And so after that I kind of like stopped talking to Chad, just because like I really didn't want any drama or anything, and so I just like kind of stopped talking to him. Like, I didn't say anything to him about why, but I just like slowly stopped replying to him, and like after school I would go a separate way so he wouldn't be like, I wouldn't run into him when he was waiting for me. And so everything was fine for like a couple weeks until homecoming. Like the homecoming dance, I don't know if everyone has a homecoming dance, but it's basically just like a dance for the whole school. It's like a little bit more casual than prom. So at homecoming, I just went with my friends because like I didn't have anyone to go with, and most people when they're freshmen, like they didn't really go on with dates anyways. So I just went with a group of my girlfriends, and when I was there, like we were just on the dance floor like dancing, and Chad tries coming up to me to like get me to dance with him. And I just turn him down. I'm like, no, like I'm fine, like I don't want to dance. And I just walk away. And so like I thought it was just gonna end at that. Like it's not a big deal, right? You know? And then the next day at school, or not the next day, because the dance is on like a Saturday, but like on the next Monday, I see him and Jessica in the halls together. So I'm like, okay, they probably got back together. Once again, I didn't think it would be a big deal. Like I just assumed that I was in the clear and like I wouldn't have to deal with them. And okay, they're back together. Like I was kind of hurt because I was like, well, he acted like he really liked me, and obviously like he wanted to get back with his ex the whole time, but like I wasn't gonna do anything about it, obviously. And so then everything was fine for like 2 weeks. And then I remember one Friday, me and my friend and my sister had just gone to the mall because that's what people did in high school, is like we just hung out at the mall. And we were just like shopping around, and my phone starts buzzing in my pocket. This one is the Santa one, and this one's the one that's filled with chocolate. So then my phone starts buzzing in my pocket, and it was a number I didn't recognize, and so I ignored it the first time just because if I didn't know the number, like I wasn't going to answer it. And then it starts calling me again, and so I answer it, and it's Jessica, and she's like going off, and she's like, why would you lie and say that Chad tried dancing with you? Like, you're crazy. You're a liar. Like, you look desperate. Like, just going off. She was like, you're so corny. Like, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't remember what I said back, honestly. I just remember, like, my stomach, like, fell into my butt. Like, literally, I was just, like, so nervous. And I knew just from that second, I was like, my life is just going to be hell. Like, the girl on my soccer team is right. This girl's freaking crazy. Like, just the Lord help me. And so, like, I'm pretty sure I hung up. Yeah, I hung up on her. And then she keeps calling and, like, keeps leaving me voicemails. And, like, at that time, I had, like, a little flip phone, so it wasn't easy. You know how on iPhone, it's, like, easy to block numbers now? You can just, like, literally block someone in, like, 2 seconds. But, like, back then, I had, like, a little flip phone, and it was, like, hard to block people, so I just had to keep ignoring the calls. Like, she kept calling me. And then when I got home, because, like, flip phones back then didn't have internet on them. Like you couldn't check like Facebook or whatever social media you had until you got home, like on your computer. And so then when I got home from the mall, I shouldn't have even checked because like I knew what I was gonna see. But I checked Facebook, and I was friends with her on Facebook, and I was friends with him on Facebook. Her status was like something like, hay is for horses, like go back to Enumclaw, because Enumclaw is like a country type city near me where it's like there's kind of like Hicks that live there. And so basically she was saying that I looked like a horse, and that like she's like, go back to Enumclaw, like blah blah blah. And like her and all her little friends were like laughing in the comments, like, oh ha 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 ha, like she's so desperate, like she looks so lame. I just remember like crying the whole night and like just like literally begging my mom to not let me go to school. And so the next day at school, me and her had the same lunch period. So it was like a big cafeteria, but like basically you had either lunch A or lunch B. And we both had lunch, whatever, I think it was like B or something, I don't know. So we both were in the cafeteria at the same time. And so I just was dreading like fourth period before lunch. Like I was like, I do not want to go to lunch. Did not want to go. And my friends like convinced me like, no, you're gonna look like you're trying to hide from her, like if you don't go, you know, which is true. And so I ended up going, and like we all sat down, and like nothing happened for like the first like 15 minutes, and I was thinking that I was like in the clear and like that she wasn't going to do anything. And then one of her friends walks over and hands me a bag of carrots. She's like, yeah, Jessica wanted you to have this, like all sweetly. And then she, remember like a couple months later, she was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that Jessica didn't like you. Like, I never would have given you those carrots if I didn't know. Like, you're her friend and you don't know that she doesn't like me. Like, were you not on Facebook last night? What? But anyways, I ignored it because I was like, okay, well, I don't want to leave and make myself look like I'm running away. And so then another 5 minutes go by, and I get hit in the back of the head with a carrot. And I look over at their table, and at this point, they're all cracking up. And I'm just so mortified. Like, I just remember, like, trying to fight tears back so hard because I didn't want to cry, obviously, in front of everyone. And I couldn't hold it in, so I told my friends, I was like, don't follow me because I don't want it to look like we're all running away together. I was like, I'm just gonna leave and I'm just gonna try to hold it in until I get outside. And so I like grab all my stuff up. I like leave my lunch there, but I grab my bags and my books and stuff like that. And I just like walk out of the lunchroom, like really just trying to hold my tears in. And then I made it to the girls' bathroom, and I literally just spent the rest of lunch like crying in the girls' bathroom. Like, you know that movie? I think it's called like, I want to say Never Back Down, but that's not it. It's like that cheerleading movie with Hayden Panettiere. I forget what it's called, but you know how she's like crying in the bathroom on her first day of school because everyone's mean to her? That was literally me. Like, I was just crying in the stall for like the rest of lunch. This is their strawberry iced one, so it's like just plain, and then it has strawberry and sprinkles. So I had unadded, obviously, Jessica and Chad on Facebook at this point. But that night, my friends were like sending me, or I don't think it was, you could send screenshots at that point. So I think they were just like telling me what was being said. And basically, Jessica was like commenting on the old Facebook status that she had posted that she was gonna bring Nair to school and like nair my head during lunch so that my hair would fall out. And so once again, I cried myself to sleep that night, and I was like begging my mom to like let me not go to school again, but like she made me go. I didn't go to lunch that day. Like, I was like, there's no way I'm going to lunch. Like, I'm just going to eat lunch in my fourth period class and like just hope that nothing else happens. I was fine just eating lunch in my fourth period class. Like, I just pretended like I had homework to do. And like, I made it through fifth and sixth period fine. And then at the end of the day, I was getting ready for soccer in the locker room. And guess who comes into the locker room? Jessica, because she knew I played soccer, and obviously she couldn't just go the whole day without not harassing me. And so she gets in my face again. She's like, yeah, you're so scared. Like, why are you so scared? Like, don't act like a little bitch, blah, 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 like getting in my face. And once again, I'm just trying to hold back tears because, like, at this point, I don't like arguing with people in general, but, like, especially then, like, she was 2 years older than me. And, like, I was just, like, scared, honestly. Like, I didn't want to get in a fight. Like, you know what I mean? And so I honestly forget if I even said anything or like what she said to me, but she just went off for what felt like 10 hours. And then eventually there was like PE teachers that like had offices in the locker room, and so one of the PE teachers came over and like not pulled us apart, but basically told Jessica to like go away, you know? And I'm pretty sure she like got her in trouble with the principal or whatever. So after that, it pretty much stopped, like after the PE teacher like intervened. But there was still like little stuff throughout the whole year where like people would be like, oh yeah, I thought you were rude because Jessica told me that you were a bitch, or Jessica told me you were a hoe, or like, you know, I didn't want to get to know you because I heard like this rumor about you, or like this rumor about you. And then there was this one party at the end of the year I went to, and Jessica was there and she was drunk, and I remember I just left because when I got there she was like, why the F is she here? And like started getting in my face again, even though it was like months later. Like looking back, I wish I would have stood up for myself more. And like my friends didn't really stand up for me because like they were in the same position where it was like her older group of friends versus us. So it was like, what were we gonna do? You know, we were like 15, they were 17, and they were like the popular girls of the school, you know. But it ended up working out in the end because that next summer, Chad got arrested for domestic violence against her, and she had to transfer schools because they couldn't go to the same high school. So I didn't have to deal with her after that. And they got karma for him getting arrested for domestic violence. Like, that's how crazy they were. Yeah. I hope the story made sense. There's like a lot that happened, like a lot of little stuff that I kind of had to cut out because it wouldn't fit into like the whole video. So I hope it made sense with like the little stuff that I did cut out, and like you get the overall picture of the story. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked my story time, and let me know in the comments about what you guys want to see for me to eat next week. Okay, bye.